Hello, this is Lightcast TV. My name is Ninja Lawor Kolek.
And I am Martin. So on Sunday, 16th November, Rigathi-Gachagua went to at a function or attended a function at Kajiado County in Kajiado West constituency. And actually, many people took that move of they congratulated him on that move because they thought that he was alikuwa sana kwa Murima, and once he stepped out of Murima, and actually during that service he had many things to say, and actually one thing stood out. He like the attack to President Ruto after removing him from office. Yeah, you can just have a glimpse of what he said, and then we proceed. Yeah, so this was his message to President Ruto.
Umeniombea sana. Na mimi sina stress, mimi nimerelax vizuri sana. Si ndio? Hasa hakuna mtu analaumu kwa ile shida iko Kenya. Wengine walaumiwe wajibu. Mimi ni mtu sasa ya kuangalia. Hata Uhuru Kenyatta, president wetu jana alisema yeye anaangalia TV, anasikiza radio. Hata mimi naangalia TV, nasikiza radio. Wacha wale wanaendesha wafanye nini? Lakini waheshimu viongozi wetu wa kidini. Let us see and wait and see how things are going. Kama Rigathi-Gachagua ndio alikuwa shida, ndio mlikuwa mnaweka ushuru ikuwe juu, simpunguze sasa vile ametoka. Si iko namna hiyo? Yes. Hizi barabara zote zimesimama, kama Edi alikuwa amesimamisha, simumalize. Si ndio? These things, you know Kenyans are very intelligent people. Kenyans are very intelligent people. And I think a lot of people are taking Kenyans for granted. These Kenyans know everything. Kwetu wanasema madhoma amebasha. Neguo. Nimuna madhoma amebasha. Kulio ndo motoi. Na ndio mimi nilisema kama kiongozi. Siku tumesumbuliwa, watu wetu karibu na kasirika, naambia pana. Wafuasi wengi wangu are business people, ni watu ya biashara, ni watu ya kutafuta mali, ni watu ya kujenga. Mimi siwezi kubali waambia watu waharibu mali, kwa sababu wafuasi yangu ndio wenye kutafuta mali, ndio wenye kuchunga mali. Mimi nitakuwa mjinga. I'll be a very stupid leader to ask my supporters to destroy property which is theirs. Nilisema tu watu wanyamaze. Mukire ki na mutikarie. But if you feel you have to express yourself in song and dance. Kati guo. Ukiigwa ni wahiukirwo ri. Uguthithie kirwimbo. Neguo. Hawa viongozi huyu Gogoyo kuja hapa na senator. Kwa maombi yenu.
Yeah, so
umeniombea sana.
That is his message. So what do you think about that? Do you think maybe he's saying that because he is out of government? Because all the things he's saying are right, are correct according to me. They are correct. But what if he said that when he was still on good terms with Ruto? You understand? When he was the deputy president, would he if maybe for example kama angekuwa bado ni president ni deputy president, ange-admit that the government isn't doing enough for Kenyans, or now that he's out, is siding with Kenyans that Ruto is not doing in accordance to what wananchi expect?
I think for me that now Rigathi-Gachagua is now an ex-deputy president or former. He is no longer in the place of where he can, enjoy the national cake. He's been ousted out, and it was very embarrassing, for a lack of a better word. And I think he brought this up on himself.
Yeah.
So for me, I think he's just crying foul. And the fact that right now he's siding with the Kenyan Mwananchi or the common Mwananchi in the country, that is the only political card that is left for him to play, because he now realizes that he needs the masses that will rally behind him if he has any political ambitions in the year 2027. Then he realizes that now is the time.
Yeah.
So I think he is now stepping into the shoes of being the opposition, so as to try and tame the Ruto government and bring them to be accountable. But we didn't see that when he was in the government. You remember the kind of rhetoric that he was, bringing on board, such as the government of shares.
Yeah.
The government of having shares. And he would go out and tell other members who did not vote for President Ruto, nyinyi hamku vote, you did not vote for the president, so nyinyi mngoja wakati wenyu. So that kind of rhetoric, and just talking about how the Mount Kenya region now will be benefiting. You remember when he was still in the government, it was all about the Mount Kenya people. And he would not, he didn't seem to be as somebody who was a unifying individual. He's a national leader. The deputy president was supposed to be a national leader. And I feel so strongly that when he was in tenure, when he was in government, he didn't do a good job in bringing the people together. He would only rally behind the Mount Kenyans, and there will be a lot of, back and forth between him and the leaders from the Mount Kenya region. And so I think it's time for him to sit down and take stock of himself politically, and he just needs to think about the lessons learned, the mistakes that he made. I think he needs to do a SWOT analysis of himself.
Yeah.
Like, he can now analyze the strength that he has right now. He has leverage over the Mount Kenya people. The Mount Kenya people are rallying behind him out of sympathy of being impeached the way he was impeached.
Yeah.
By all the systems that are running in government. And he needs to, leverage that and use it for his own gain, that he might use it in a manner that will bring him votes in 2027. And the fact that he came on board without a political party, I think that was a dangerous and wrong move. So I think if there are advisors who are around him, or if he's rallying supporters, I'm sure there are senators, MPs who are rallying behind him right now out of sympathy because of the way he was impeached and rallied out of government. I think he needs to sit down and come up with a very, very strategic plan on how to garner support, not only from Mount Kenya, because I strongly believe that not only the Mount Kenya votes will take him to where he wants to be in the leadership of this country. He needs to rally support from all parts of the country. He needs to rally support from especially the Western region, Nyanza region, coastal region, the northeastern region, and he needs to have the rhetoric of bringing the Kenyans together and not just rolling around the Mount Kenya people. He needs to change the way he does politics. He needs to tone his language. He seems to be a very truthful man, as he has always said, but he can be a careless talker at some point, You remember, why am I saying that he's a careless talker? You remember the first day when he was inaugurated into the presidency, deputy presidency, where he was being sworn in and then he was given time to talk. My goodness, the things that he said, and in the presence of foreign diplomats, the diplomatic corps, the former presidents from different parts of the world, in Africa and other parts of the world, were present. and he was just airing dirty linen in public, and he was humiliating the president, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, who had just handed over his baton to President Ruto. I think that was a very dangerous presidency. He shot himself in the foot, and he was excited, and he did not actually believe that they had actually won the elections, and that is why he was a bit confused when he was being sworn in. You remember the person from the judge's bench, from the is it the judiciary bench, was trying to swear him in, and Deputy Rigathi-Gachagua at that time was, fidgeting. And I remember he said, I would discharge my duties. And
he was excited.
Yeah, he was too excited. And it was
speak.
like, oh my God, he had too much butterflies on his stomach. But then again, he did not learn how to tame his tongue. Because there's so many things that he said, saying that the economy is dilapidated. The way he said, I mean, those things coming from a sworn-in deputy president, I think it's made a very, very, very dangerous trend for him. Even between him and the diplomatic corps, they did not even trust him to have him when it comes to talks in matters diplomacy and the other countries. And that's why you'd find that President Ruto would actually bring in the foreign affairs minister, what's his name again? Musalia Mudavadi, so as to deal with the diplomatic corps. I think he needs to take stock of his political life, his political CV or resume, and he needs to correct what needs to be corrected, and he needs to, sit down and with his wife maybe, and try to analyze the steps forward if he wants to gain political mileage going forward.
Okay, according to me, first of all, can you really blame him? Can you really blame Gachagua? Because, for example, you can, for you to, for example, judge a person in court, you can try to look at his career in politics. Gachagua is not an old man in terms of politics. You understand? He used to be a civil servant, and you see, if maybe you are appointed as a DO or a DC, you don't have rather much say. You don't have much say in matters, maybe development. You are all there is to take orders. Like you are just told that uko hapo kwa district yako kunaomba na pombe, tunataka kuomba udili nayo vizuri. You understand? He was like a yes man kind of man back then in during the times of Moi, and then during his time with Uhuru Kenyatta, he was like a personal assistant. So there wasn't really maybe much politics he used to know, because you remember during the time, the incident that occurred for him to become an MP. Kuna ile time ndugu yake alitoka from that constituency, Madira constituency. He was like a long-term serving member of parliament at Madira, and it's when his brother came out of that office and pursued gubernatorial seat, that aliwache nini kwa vacant, the MP seat kwa vacant, ndio Gachagua kachip in, and he actually was on his first term as an MP when Ruto picked him to run as his running mate in 2022. So I guess this was a cunning move by Ruto, or it was a trick move by Ruto, so that because he knew that Gachagua didn't know much of politics, you understand. And from my side, he underestimate, because he thought maybe Gachagua was a yes man, or in this situation of also there's this essence of alifosiwa kuchukua Gachagua. that he wasn't his first choice from the word go. So I guess this was him picking Gachagua. Alichukua mtu mwenye anaweza tumia na mdamp, and if things go the way maybe constitution says, Gachagua is duped. For example, if hata kwa position ya kuvie for any seat come 2027, unaona juu constitution nasema once you are impeached you cannot go back vie for any political or appointive seat in the government. So juu hii kesi yake bado I don't know where sasa itafikia wapi hii kesi yake impeachment, because after Kindiki alikuwa sworn in ilikuja nikai imeisha. So according to me, Gachagua is guilty and is not guilty at the same time, because is how can I say it, is a victim of politics. And I guess it will sit well kama angekuwa na admit. Unajua there is a difference between correcting and admitting. When he was in government, ange-admit that we are not doing what is needed, but we are working towards bettering things. You understand? There is a difference. You understand? But not saying when he was in the government, he used to say that you're pressuring Ruto. It has just been 1 year. It has just been this way. He used to roast Raila. He used to insult Raila, that Raila anawapeleka mbio, Raila ajui mambo na nini, Raila sijui hivi, Raila is an old man, anafaa ende bondo na vitu kaa hizo. So but as they say that this is politics. Now politics is about tricks and deceit. But according to me, angesimama na watu from the word go. Saizi watu wamekuwa at their mercy. But we see rather different situation that people are still celebrating him. Even we see the incident of Embu, and right now even in social media people are celebrating Gachagua more kushinda venye wana celebrate Ruto. And maybe if Raila joins forces with Ruto in the coming 2027 elections, maybe Gachagua will stand a chance of now becoming maybe the next opposition leader, or right now is being a opposition leader, because right now there's no one criticizing the government apart from maybe the likes of Morara, the likes of Boniface Mwangi, and and wananchi. But right now Raila, after hii venye aliweka issue yake na AU, alisema it's like he took a backseat and stopped criticizing some things in the government. And even the ODM brigade, the ODM senators and those people, they have took a step back in criticizing the government in whichever way, because maybe they don't want to be seen that they are contradicting their master, who is Raila Odinga. But right now, someone who is criticizing the government as per now is Gachagua. So it's an interesting turn of events, because people are waiting to see if maybe this narrative of Gachagua criticizing the government will dilute the Gen Z movement, because the Gen Z aim is to remove Ruto from the government. I don't know, maybe we'll join forces. You see, even if atakuwa kwa election come 2027, atakuwa na say. Understand? Because right now he's ordering some parts of Mulima. Akisema tu maybe someone from Murima ama someone from other parts of Kenya asimame for presidency na support, I think itakuwa na influence kiasi. And there kumekuwa na hii story ya yeye kuungana na nani Kalonzo. I think it would make an impact. Yeah. So and then pia ukiangalia kwa comment section hapo kwa TikTok unapata kuna mtu anasema ati kondoo za uhuru si uliiba, ati wewe ni mwizi. Like people accusing him of stealing the Uhuru's sheep and goats there at Uhuru's Ruiru farm. Yeah, and then we're seeing like Mount Kenya officially in opposition. Hapo mtu anasema, and then kuna mwingine anasema, but this guy is archaic mindset. I don't see him becoming president. Maybe I can say maybe Gachagwa's mind is not being a president. Yeah, you can be surprised by that. And then we are also seeing that, to be honest, Rigathi was never the problem. Maybe we all judge him wrongly. Of course, I don't see that he was the problem, because, for example, if Ruto's plan was to bring growth and development in Kenya generally, I don't think someone like Gachagua will contradict him, because according to the constitution, Gachagua is just a deputy president, is just serving the interest of the sitting president. So actually, the deputy president doesn't really have a say in matters development, in matters orders by the president. So I guess it was not the problem. Even now, Kindiki cannot be the problem. Because if at all your master says that I want things to move, you have no option rather than obeying the orders. What do you say?
I think I will disagree with you a bit, because I believe that you're a sum total of the decisions that you make.
Mm-hmm.
You have outlined the political resume of DP Gachagua ever since he came into the public limelight.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he served as the DO of former President Daniel Arap Moi. So we know that he learned so much from the president.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came into politics immediately after his brother's demise. Then we heard from his resume that he was in Uhuru's government, he was as personal assistant. Then into Ruto's government, he was chosen as the deputy president. I think it all speaks for itself. The rising and fall of Rigathi Gachagua, that remains to be his choices. He made a choice, and so when you make a choice, then it is up to you to grump with it.
Yeah.
The choices that he made, the things that he said when he was the deputy president,
Mm-hmm.
those are the consequences. He is reaping the consequences of the things that he said. I still stand by that, and there is no way you can make me change my mind on that, because as the deputy president, one, you might not be able to try and outdo the one who is your boss. Yes, he has to do everything that the president says, because he's the deputy, he's now standing in. Secondly, there is a way that a deputy president needs to act.
Yeah.
And the deputy president then, Rigathi Gachagua, was the exact opposite of that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I still stand by that. From day one, he disqualified himself from the things that he said. He completely disqualified himself, and he continued to disqualify himself even when he would go for rallies, or when he would go for conferences, or when he would go for meetings with different people around the country, and he would talk about the government of shares. That is very wrong. There is no way you can make me change my mind about him being a man who is a careless talker. I think that is one of the reasons why even the people who come from the Western Nyanza region, they actually say good riddance, because he was bringing division in the country. How come you have a deputy president who doesn't want to bring national unity to the people? And one thing that he needed to learn from his former boss, the late President Daniel Arap Moi. President Daniel Arap Moi, even if he was a dictator and he did things that were brutal, crude, and abrasive, and making politicians to disappear into thin air through killings and extrajudicial ways, he would rally against the principle of peace, love, and unity. Tukae kwa amani. That is the one thing that I remember President Moi always telling the Kenyan people. Tuwachane na ukabila. Ukabila ni kitu ambacho itafanya wananchi wapigane na wauane. And that is one thing that the president would always rally against the principle of tribalism. And that is something that this guy was trying to bring on board. And now he's changing the rhetoric and telling the Kenyan people to shut up. Of course, sisi hatutaongea kwa sababu you are no more relevant in the politics of this country.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next future, 2027, you will have a card to play, and that will also be determined by the strategic plan that he plans today. Asiende tu kukaa on the back seat akingoja things to fall into place. He needs to do something. So I think even if he wants to become president, he needs to work on his character as being a leader.
Okay.
He needs to work, because right now the Kenyans right now are so woke. Na wanasikiza kile ambacho umesema, hawatasahau kile ambacho umesema. Remember, there is social media, there is remembering and is keeping records of the things that you have done, the things you've said, everything that you have done to the Kenyan people, everything that you have said to the Kenyan people is on record. So he needs to watch his tongue, and he needs to, rebrand himself. He needs to work on total repackaging, total rebranding if he wants to be the real leader in this country.
Okay, that's great. That's all for now. Na hapo Mayo Kipchumba na Kupranga namwambia, are you realizing that now after being thrown under the bus? Unatuona tunakaa nyuma yako. Hapo sasa unasema unalia nini? Na kuna mwingine anasema uchungu ya nini msee? Relax na upange ajayo. Yeah, so thank you very much for your comments. Na pia kama uko na comments, so you can drop your feedback on the comment section of this video here on YouTube. And you can also subscribe to Lightcast TV Kenya official YouTube channel, and also you can cross over to other social media platforms, TikTok, Lightcast TV Kenya, also on Facebook, Lightcast TV Kenya. And thank you very much for tuning in. And if you want to advertise with us, you can WhatsApp us on that number, +254 721 503924, or email at lightcasttv@gmail.com. See you on the other video.